Hey, everybody. Today's an exciting podcast because we have a great singer songwriter on. Her name is Marthadavis, and a lot of you may remember her from Marthadavis and the Motels. They had a lot of big hits in the early, mid, and late 80s, and she's written a lot of new songs, and we're going to talk about that, her new tour. Yeah, I'm really privileged. I feel really honored to have her on because they sent me the songs ahead of time and I got to listen to them, and it's very exciting. I'm going to ask her about it. And yeah, she's kind of an inspiration of mine. And I really find her voice very beautiful. And I'm excited to talk to Marthadavis of Marthadavis and just the group, the Motels.
Candid with Kimbra.
How you doing?
Candid with Kimbra.
Telling ya.
Candid with
I'm really excited for you to check out this interview.
Candid with Kimbra.
I really appreciate you coming on. First of all, let me introduce you. This is the legendary Marthadavis, a legend in her own time.
Mind, yes.
Yeah. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on today because a lot of my friends.
Hey, sorry, I'm talking to the dogs, not you.
Yeah, she's cutting me off already. I really appreciate you coming on because a lot of my friends are going to be really excited to watch this podcast. You have a lot of fans, and I personally really respect your songwriting and your singing. So I just
Thank
wanted you to, yeah, I wanted you to know that.
I appreciate that you lead with songwriting. That's
Yeah.
actually
Well, I
thing.
know because I mean,
Yeah.
it's one thing to be a good singer, but to write songs, it's a whole other, not just a craft, but I mean, it's really hard to write good songs, you know?
Well, I mean, it's you guys, you're gonna have to go.
This is Martha and her dogs. Her dogs are in this
Yes.
too.
As soon as I get on a Zoom, they go crazy. I mean, they were just asleep like a second ago. I think they went in on the action. Yes, no, but I appreciate the songwriting's always been I don't know. That to me, I'm not a singer. I mean, that was an accidental thing. I mean, I never wanted, I mean, I didn't train to be a singer. I have never actually had a lesson or done anything like that. And I figured if Bob Dylan and various people could, it's not about your voice, it's about your story. It's like if you listen to Tom Waits, you wouldn't go, "Oh, that's a beautiful voice." You just go, "Whoa, those are great songs."
That's an interesting perspective. And, I heard some other.
And that's why when people tell me that they can't sing, I go, "That's not true. Everyone can sing."
That's
And it's what you have to say and how you say it. So
true.
that's the whole gift right there.
And your songs are so personal. I mean, like I personally could relate to a few of your big hits. Like, they're very touching and the way you sing them is very heartfelt. And to me, that's more important than, because I sing too and I get on my own case about, oh my God, I didn't hit the note. But it's really more
Yeah.
about the emotion, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, what my all-time favorite, and probably the reason I'm got wound up in this crazy biz was David Bowie, and his thing was always capturing that energy. It wasn't about the perfection, it was about just that moment where everybody was firing on the same cylinder. And so I mean, there's a lot of different ways to interpret music. I mean, I know so many brilliant, brilliant musicians that you put the craziest charts in front of them and they can play anything, and yet they can't come up with something. They can't like
Compose
if you
or
take the sheet music away, they can't do it. And it's like, so we're all trained different ways and we all have different gifts, but I'm lucky to get the songwriting one. And my Lord knows where it comes from. And the muse just dragged me around by the hair. Well, what's left of it anyway.
I was going to ask you,
But
I know you're originally from Berkeley, right? And
yeah,
I read
yeah.
somewhere that you said your upbringing was a combination of conservative and bohemian, right? Is that true? Did you really say that?
Yeah, my dad was leaned a little bit more conservative. My mom was a full-blown wacko. And well, I mean, and she was literally rebelling from, she was a Presbyterian minister's daughter from Ohio,
Oh wow.
who when she got came to California and went to Berkeley, she was very brilliant. She was an English major. She met my dad, and I think he was a lot more relaxed then. And as they got together, she became more wacky and he became more conservative to try to keep it all together. And bottom line, I just don't think they were meant for each other. They were two great people, but that didn't really pan out for them together.
But they produced you, so there you go.
Yeah, I've got both of those things going on.
Yeah, it's funny because when I read that quote, I was like, "What a great comparison and or a juxtaposition." Because I feel I can totally relate to that because my father was a hippie, my mother was very conservative. She was an
Yeah,
immigrant, so she embraced the whole, work hard, American story, and my dad was more like a hippie. So I can totally relate to
yeah.
that comparison.
And if it works out, it's a good blend. I mean, for them, it didn't work out at all because they were constantly sort of butting heads, and the more he tried to get her to behave, Jane, have you lost your mind completely? I remember that phrase being said a lot. And she would rebel, and she was also, I think she desperately wanted to be an artist because this was, I was born in 1951, so we're talking like, and they tried for 11 years to have a child, could not have a child, and adopted my sister. And 11 months later, doink, here I am. So,
How about luck?
so there was, by the time I came along, the marriage was pretty much ravaged, and they, they were trying very hard to, like, my mom, who I really believe wanted to be a writer. Her the huge influence on my lyrics. She read all of these amazing, from Virginia Woolf to James Joyce to, like, Henry Miller would be our bedtime story. I mean,
Intense.
so I got yeah, very, very hilarious. You're a little tiny kid and your mom's reading you Tropic of Cancer because she loved the literacy of it. She loved how beautiful and I remember just sitting there and poking my sister going, Janet, what, because he would be like, she goes, shut up, mom's reading. You
Oh
know,
my gosh, that's so funny.
but yeah,
That's probably where you got
but
your
it
writing. Well, it must have seeped into you,
absolutely,
you know.
absolutely. I mean, hearing all this beautiful, I mean, it's like James Joyce, when you try to read him, it's very difficult. But if you have him read to you,
Mm.
it's this beautiful melodic, use of words where the
Mhm.
words don't necessarily they don't seem to mean anything, but just because of the flow, the musicality of them makes you feel something,
Yeah, he's very.
which I tend to write like that all the time. I'm totally stream of consciousness. I have no idea what I'm writing when I'm writing it.
That's
I
so
figure it
great.
out later.
That's so
Yeah.
great because you hear a lot of people. Some songwriters are more formulated. They know because they've
Yeah.
been doing it for a job. And then,
Yeah.
but you're inspirational. It comes from you from you don't know where the muse, right?
Yeah, we don't know where. I mean, I'm literally, when I Only Lonely came along, I literally picked up my guitar and it was sitting there waiting. It was just like, now finally you're here. Okay. The whole song, from lyrics, music, everything just sort of just plopped out. And I went, thank you.
What a gift. I hear that happens
Yeah.
usually when the song, a lot of times, these great songs that the songwriters always say it came out in one big plop,
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes.
Well, I mean, the one when songwriters, or if I've been asked for my advice in the past, how to write songs, I said the only advice I can give is get the out of your own way.
Hmm.
Literally, don't overthink. If you can open, because to me it is a conduit thing. It's definitely, and you've heard many artists say the same thing, so I don't think we're all wrong.
Hmm.
There's a thing where if you allow it, open yourself and just allow it to come in,
Hmm. Hmm.
oftentimes it'll just come in, and sometimes it comes in herds, and you're just like, wow, wait a minute. But and it's different, if I'm writing a musical or something like that, where it's an assignment, and you have a task ahead to describe a scene and stuff like that. That's a different thing. That's also fun, but it's a whole different ball game than the just like, look what just dropped out of the heavens.
You know, I know you've written a lot of new songs, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But I was doing, looking up some of your old stuff, and I want you, just now you're reminding me of it. You wrote during the pandemic or right before. I have my standards, right? Didn't you write
Uh-huh.
a collection, an
Yeah.
album, right? And I was listening to some of them,
Yeah.
and they're beautiful. I'm going to listen to them again.
Thank you.
No, I really that's
Thank you so much. I appreciate
I
that.
love musical theater and standards, and so I just
Yeah.
it kind of
Yeah.
reminded me, like, gosh, what was the one song called? The Long Goodbye, which was, I think, your the first.
Yeah, me and Marty actually wrote he wrote the music to that, and that was the co-write on the album. But it's like I over the years, because I never try to, I don't try to stay in one lane.
Mhm,
I just,
mhm.
whatever comes along, so I mean, I have country and western, I have jazz, I have all this. And it just got to a point where I felt like, you know what, there's enough of these little standard sounding things that I'll just put together. And that album only contains like the mid-tempo to slow ballady type ones, and
Mhm.
then I at some point I'm going to get around to putting the up-tempo kind of stuff out that's sort of that same vein. But
You
yeah,
have to.
there's a lot in the closet, and at some point very soon I want to try to start cleaning out all these songs, because there's a lot of ones that I love. They're good songs. They just, you can only fit so many on an album, and then you
Oh,
know.
that's a good problem to have, though. You know,
It is a good problem. It is a great problem. But I feel bad for the ones that never get to come out and see
they're little babies.
get to play. Yeah, I know. Like they're poor little closet children. They're like the Harry Potters of under the stairway.
That's so funny. So I know you've been writing a bunch of new songs, and I got the privilege to listen to them because Jamie sent them over to me. And
Nice.
by the way, James Grover, our mutual friend, I guess he's worked with you in the past. He told me to tell you hello.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
It's just
But anyway, so I listened to your songs, and they're really great. Now you have this like celestial kind of cosmic theme going, right? On the new stuff.
it's a whole story that I wrote, and the songs, it's basically a kind of a sci-fi musical.
Oh,
Um,
I didn't realize.
yeah, and with wonderful, wonderful artwork by this wonderful artist named Michael Bayes. And it's a very visual pack. It's going to be a very visual package. We're shooting for a sort of November ish release on this. And yeah, so it's like every song has illustrations for it. There's a story that goes along with it. In the beginning, it was like a 30-page story, and then I kept cutting it down and cutting it down. And by the time the artwork got together with the music, and at the advice of actually some friends of mine, it was like, you don't even need the whole story, because I was trying to fit it in with the artwork and everything on the actual gatefold album. And I'm like, so now I've got it reduced down to like one paragraph. And then if people are real interested, I'll release the story separately, as like a graphic novel or something.
Wow. So
But yeah,
this piece, it's called, well, the songs are called Escape Planet Earth.
yeah.
So is it a musical or is it just an album of new stuff, new songs?
It's a storyline. It goes
Okay.
from, so it's you wouldn't call it a musical in the sense that, it's only 11 songs as
Right.
opposed to 30 or
Right.
something.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
that wouldn't be hard to do. If anybody wants to make a musical out of it, I'll write those other songs, no problem.
Broadway, here we come.
In fact, there's probably a lot of other ones that were written for it, because that happens all the time. You overwrite all the time for albums. So but yeah, I just feel in this day and age, the way things are going, people are writing, they're they just put their singles up, and I'm like, if you're gonna make an album, let's make an album that's a cohesive piece of work. So, you know, you want to listen to the whole thing. That's my dream is that somebody would want to listen to it from top to bottom because it is a continuation and a story. The first side is terrestrial, so the first side of the album is all on Earth, and then they blast off, and then the second side of the album is all in space.
Oh,
And yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
So, you said it's going to be released in November. Is that what you said?
Around November, we don't have a complete date, but the album's completely finished. Artwork, everything's done. So it's ready to roll. We're just looking for um this is the business end of it, which is not as fun. Trust me.
So, I was going to ask you about that. Now, with this new album, are you releasing it through a record label or in streaming independently, or is that what you're trying to figure out right now?
That's what I'm doing right now because I do have a label called Remarkable Records that I started some years back, and I've had the complete idiotic. I'm such an idiot when it comes to business. I mean, I'll just release all these albums, like I have my standards, or the this album, or the even the last one, the last few beautiful days, and I just sort of like I do all the work. I pay for the whole. I mean, the albums they're not cheap to make,
Sure.
But then by the time I get to releasing them, I just sort of put them up on the internet and they disappear because that's when you really have to start spending the cash,
Sure.
to promote it and do
So you
all that.
started your own record label then, basically? You have your
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it's
got it.
it's called Remarkable Records. But like I said, somehow I didn't think to have a promotion department in it.
Yeah, that's like always that's the big,
I know that's where the money is.
yeah.
That's where everything that costs so much to really get to place. I mean, it's a business, and you have to, when you have your product in hand, you have to then how to figure out how to get people's eyeballs on it. And in this world of billions of things with billions of eyeballs and billions of different, it's hard. You have to have.
Do you do social media, Martha? I mean, can people
I
find you?
personally do not. I am not. I have. I don't Spotify, I don't social media, I don't I'm kind of I'm kind of a jerk that way.
Martha, you're not wrong to not do it, to be honest with you. I don't like it at all, but I do
Yeah.
it because I
It's amazing how many people I talk to about it and that nobody it's like nobody
what's the
likes it.
like?
Young people, old people, it doesn't matter who you ask, they're like, oh man, it sucks. And every time they upgrade you, like it gets worse. And it's like, yeah, people are
Well,
not
because
really thrilled.
it's a lot of work and it's a lot of time, you know?
Yeah. I
So
don't have time. I've got critters I have to tend to and I would much rather spend my time literally doing physical work or creative work, that's where the joy is. And I think so many people just spend their time, doing this and they don't even, I mean, it's
they're being out of touch with the real world, you know?
well, not only that,
I mean,
there's
it's
a
people.
manipulation. There's a
Right.
manipulation going on where
Sure.
they are just coming out now with the facts that a lot of the social media was based on the way gambling institutions have trained us to gamble. This is like we have been just dragged into this little
It's like
thing
a
and
dopamine
addicted.
dopamine
Yeah,
hit,
yep,
every time.
absolute.
Yeah,
The
I
dope's on dopamine.
I agree. And I don't like it at all, but I do. It's like a necessary.
It's a necessary evil.
But
I mean, I have to have people to do it
yeah,
because even though I'm not gonna,
spend your
and
time.
that's kind of rude. It's kind of like, I'm a
Well,
hypocrite. I'll
well,
admit it.
it's the business.
I
But okay, so if people want to find your stuff, though, you do have a website or something, or
yes, themotels.com.
perfect.
There's Facebooks and Instagram. There's all that stuff is out there. Jamie knows more about this than I do. That's why
Jamie is the
I can
lady.
do
She's the
it.
lady.
Jamie is the lady. She is
Um,
the one that takes care of me because I'm hopeless. Yeah.
it's good to have somebody like that, in your camp who just
Yeah,
it has your back. So
absolutely.
I know you guys are going on this tour too. Gosh, I think tickets went on sale last week. I was looking up, and
Yeah.
it launches July 17th. your tour. It's called the Totally Tubular Festival.
Yes.
Totally Tubular. Now,
The tubular tour. Oh my
yeah,
God, the teacher.
totally tubular. So Thomas Dolby, Flock of Seagulls, Tommy Tutone, the producers. I'm sure you've played with all these guys a lot, right? You've played with them before.
Uh, a few, yes. I mean, yes, there's some more than others, but at some point we all get around to each other because it's the won't go awayies. They just keep happening. And it's like I could have sworn they would have been gone by now, but apparently not.
People
People
have
are
this
so
thing about the
excited to
80s.
go. They do. They do. They love it. And I get it. You know, it was a special little period of time in music
Yeah.
where a lot of things came together to create a sort of magic moment, you know. Um,
And
I've done,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and I feel like with the movies too, you'll always get your music. The 80s especially the movies have a fondness for 80s music. You hear it all the time in film,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. I've been lucky enough to get a few placements. There was in the Bear and there was something just recently. I, and I forget which songs went in which things, but actually Motels music has had a really good history of being used in very cool things. Like we've been in The Sopranos and Breaking Bad and Mr. Robot, and you know, there's been a lot of cool usage and the fabulous usage by Jonathan Demme in Something Wild of
Mhm.
Total Control, which was possibly one of my favorite usages of the song. But
Wow.
yeah, and that's great. More of that, please. I love that.
Please, please more of that. No, I totally agree. I
Yes.
mean, your video, I was checking out some of your videos the other day and you have some great videos. There was that one I think it was for Take the L Out of, or was it? No, Take the L Out of Lover. Is that the one where you have the hat on?
Uh-huh. Yeah. No,
Or was,
that was Only Lonely,
oh
I
yeah,
think.
Only the Lonely, right. But that
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
video. I was like laughing. I'm like, wow, that video is so 80s, with the hair.
yeah.
Um, so I know you did a show recently at the Whiskey because one of my friends who's a photographer was there.
Uh-huh.
It sounded like you came on just by yourself or at the Whiskey this past month or so. Weren't you there at the Whiskey?
No, not by myself. I was there with my band
Oh,
and a
okay.
few other bands as well. So it was a regular night at the Whiskey where they
Ah,
usually have like 4 or 5 bands going at once, you know.
maybe that's what I think didn't know you were going to be there and he was just like, "What? Marthadavis?" He was like a big fan of yours.
Yeah, yeah. It was a fun night. And I've been playing there. Marty reminded me, I think it's been 47 years, maybe longer, maybe 50.
Wow. You're
Yeah.
almost as up there like the Doors because
Yeah.
a friend of mine is going to a Doors thing that I think it was 60 years ago they did.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. It's very weird. It doesn't feel like it, but I guess it's true.
Yeah,
So,
well, your legacy of great songs, you can, follow it that way, I guess, right?
yeah. Yeah. Well, that's basically what it is. And I literally wrote a song about it one time called My Diary. And it's that the songs are the diary of my
Mhm,
life, you know,
mhm.
because and like I said, because the way I write, I don't often know what the hell I'm writing about. But when I look back and give it some time, I go, now I remember that time. And it totally captures how I felt at that time, which is usually was emotionally a wreck. That was, that was most of my life. Strangely, now at 75, I feel amazing.
You mean
I
like
feel,
your not just your health, but your mental
well,
outlook?
my health has been in the toilet for the last 3 years. So I've gone through every medical and I still feel better emotionally and even physically, it's been a little rough because there's been surgeries and this and that, but I feel good. So
Really?
it's weird. I
That's
don't ask me what's going
don't
on.
don't
I
fight.
won't knock. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just like, okay, whatever.
Where you live on a farm.
hmm
It's a farm, right? It's a
Yeah, oh, it's a farm. It's 72 acres. Yeah.
Wow. And do you grow things that you eat
It's
on the
just
farm?
starting to be planted. It's not like we're got wheat fields or anything, but I'm about to put in the garden. In Oregon, it doesn't stop raining
I
till
know.
about June. So we're sort of starting to do, but like the things that like the crops that are that come in every year, like the artichokes are starting to pop, the asparagus. Oh man, you eat that asparagus right out of the ground. So good.
Oh my God, I love
I
asparagus.
just made a rhubarb pie. Yes, I love to bake. Baking is not, it's another thing. I love to cook all my life, but I was never a baker. And now kind of baking, and I'm like, what's going on?
Well,
That's just, I guess, what old ladies do, I guess. We bake.
your friends must really like that.
Yes, they do. I have two roommates, two boys, and well, they're not boys, they're men. But yes, they appreciate the cooking.
Oh, well, it sounds like a fun place. So you're outside of Portland a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool. My father used to live in Ashland. So I know Ashland.
yeah.
That was kind of a lot of transplanted Californians lived in
There's
Ashland.
a lot of, that's what we are basically. And the original Oregonians are like,
I know. Get those. That's what always happens with the Californians. They're like, get those. More Californians are coming. You know.
here they come. Well, you can tell traffic wise that when I first moved here like 20 years ago, that first of all, there was no traffic and everybody was desperately polite. It
Mm.
was like everybody was just like they would all slow down for you to move over and that's changed a lot. And I'm like, yeah, it's the Californians, which I think the Californians are all transplants from New York. So many people
Some
from
of
New
them.
York
That's
moved to
true.
California,
That's
especially
true.
in the industry. So
That's true.
but yeah,
Because my
so we're just
grandparents,
we're just moving the traffic around the country
yeah,
into
that's very true. Because there's not a lot of super native Californians. Like my family originally came from Pennsylvania and New York. You're right.
yeah,
And so, yeah. And then I'm only a second generation Californian, really. And so,
yeah,
but to everybody, that's like, wow, because most people are just coming here for the first time. You know,
yep,
Even though they
yep.
say a lot of people leave California, it's still very crowded.
Yeah, that's true. So whereabouts are you in Hollywood,
I'm in
Hollywood?
Los Angeles. I've lived in all different parts, but
Yeah.
right now I'm kind of near Silver Lake area, you know.
I did my time in Silver Lake before it was cool to be in Silver Lake.
I
Yeah.
know it's still
I was
considered
in
edgy.
I was in Echo Park and it was
Oh,
not groovy when
back
I was
then,
there.
I mean, whenever you live there, because it's only been about 15 years
Yeah.
ish that it's gotten really
The
gentrified.
gentrification has happened, but yeah, when I was there, people were to put it just very bluntly, one guy died in the basement of the old house that I lived in from huffing paint.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
literally, it's like it was, and yeah, it was rough. It was a very rough, but it was a crazy old house. The house is still there. It was, they built up. That used to be the where all the old mansions and stuff were, and this house was a huge old house that had just fallen to rack and ruin. And my landlady, as sweet as she was, had a very, very mentally disturbed son who was, I mean, it was chaos. It was
wow.
complete chaos. Yeah,
Sounds
just,
like great fodder for songwriting, though.
oh yeah, it was dark and scary and it's just, not good for my children at all.
Oh, yeah,
So,
I know. Well, Oregon is a nice, I often think, because my father moved to Ashland after I was an adult, but I always thought, gosh, I would have liked to have gone to school here because there was a nice quality about at least
yeah.
Ashland.
Yeah. Well, Berkeley when I was a kid was just amazing. It was perfect, that's where I grew up and it was a small university town,
Mhm.
and now, I mean, it's just what are you going to do with us humans? That's all we do is we progress,
Well,
and
and
it's like we all talk about, I'd like to go back and yeah, there's some good and some bad about going backwards. I just wish that when we go forward, we did it with a little forethought because we don't seem to have any consideration about our fellow man or the future or it seems like everybody's just sort of blindly just charging forward and it's a little disturbing.
yeah, I guess that you could say that about Americans and maybe humans in general, that we don't think about the big picture sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're just in the moment of,
Yes, yes, yes. Need the gratification, instant gratification.
yeah, no,
Uh,
no, no. But
Yeah.
you brought up a good point, because I was listening to this one podcast with Jeff Skunk Baxter, from
Yes.
and he was saying,
Fascinating guy.
he's so smart, huh?
He's
I mean,
so crazy.
he's so like, I guess, linear thinking, but also a musician, and
Yeah,
but
multi fascinating.
yeah, and he was just saying how they were saying, asking him, well, they were talking about reminiscing about old stuff, and he's like, what are you going to do? Things change. He was very
Yep.
practical about it.
Yep. Yep.
You can't look back too much, because we have a tendency to like reminisce and, oh, things were so good back then.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, and there's, people despair about, where we are with the violence, and I'm like, people, we've come a long way.
That's true.
We're not the Inquisition. If you look at some of the action that was going down then, no, I mean, we have come a long way, and we are going in the right direction, but it's always the step forward and the two steps back. I mean, it's always like this thing where, and there's things that to me are like really obvious, like, well, you have this new AI thing, which is, obviously it can go two different directions, but I'm
Sure.
like, okay. Why doesn't somebody invite, and if somebody is going to use AI and invent something, why don't they invent a truth bot?
Hmm.
That way we would have one place to go where the truth would be evident because it would be an AI truth bot, and it would only present the truth. I would like that.
That
Give
is
me
a
a truth
very
bot.
that is a very interesting concept. Yeah, I mean,
Could a truth bot exist in this world?
well, like, even with all the political stuff that's going on, and then you put the thing in the truth bot, and then
Yeah.
is that really happening?
Yeah, I mean, I am so tired of not knowing what to believe.
That's
You
true.
know, I am like, I just want the truth.
Right.
Just want the truth.
As
I don't.
John Lennon said, give me some truth.
Yep, yep. I think we've all of us have written that song.
Yeah.
One point or the other. I know I have. It's like,
I know, it's so true though, because it's so interesting, because I was looking up some of your stuff, and that your standards are, I have my standard collection of songs,
yeah.
and there was a whole site and then it had the other Marthadavis from the 40s. Her bio was under your
Oh,
music.
I love, yeah, she's amazing.
I know, but it
Mark
was so funny
David,
because
his
I'm like,
spouse. Yeah.
but I was like, that's not Marthadavis. I mean, you,
No, what's funny is my old producer Carter, may he rest in peace, sent me he got me one of her albums, and Martha Davis and spouse, as it was
Yeah,
known, she and her husband, this big black woman, just an
sure.
amazing piano player and awesome artist, just a
Wow.
tremendous. Yes, I am not that Martha Davis.
No, but I just
Also,
thought it was funny that it was, speaking of misinformation, it was like her
yeah.
bio underneath your songs, and I'm like, huh? Okay.
No, no, it's very, yeah.
It was funny. So
No,
it's not that.
no, I mean, there's a lot that can be said that is wrong. There's also brilliant and wonderful things that are right. Humans have the capacity, to be, I mean, the same thing that makes us evil empire conquerors is our imagination and our creativity. And, it's like, it's a double-edged sword. It's the same thing that, you know, brings us the most gorgeous and beautiful things on the planet and the most altruistic and wonderful humans. And you twist it the other way and you can get as dark as you want to go.
That's so true. I mean, even with artists that have created like wonderful pieces of artwork, and then they have that other side of them that is just like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's yeah, it's a little bit
it's
tough.
complicated.
I don't understand how things like the dark web exist.
Oh,
Like, why
yeah.
can't we, why doesn't that need to be exterminated somehow? I mean, why does that exist? I mean, isn't that criminal? Isn't it all based on criminal activity? And so wouldn't you want to make it criminally, I
Like,
mean,
against the law. You mean against the
yeah,
law to have it?
yeah.
That's a good question. I've never been on the dark web. I've only heard
I
about it,
never have either, but
but
I do know
good
that,
question. I will ask
I,
my techie friends about that.
yeah, because I mean, I know that. my daughter died of a drug overdose. And I brought her to the farm thinking I could keep her safe, but no, you can't keep anybody safe because they can go on the dark web and get whatever they want, you
Sure.
know? So it's like, well, that seems illegal
Yeah.
to
Oh, that's
me.
true. Oh, you mean she was able to get drugs from the dark
Yes,
web?
yes,
Oh, I didn't know.
yes,
Oh,
yes. You can go on there, you can get anything. And to me, it's like, how is that possible? How does that exist if everything on it is illegal? Anyways, these are just questions I ask myself.
you
Why
know,
isn't there a truth bot? Why is there a dark web? It's like,
these are all good questions. And
yes,
if anybody's, knows the answers to these questions, please put it on
yes,
under my
yes.
YouTube video.
That would be
Yeah,
that
we
would
want
be
to know. We're going to start a conversation. That's what the internet, like, we can use the internet for good, right?
yes, we can. Yes,
Um,
we can.
so yeah, I'm sorry about your daughter. I had a cousin that OD'd from too much cocaine, and it's kind of
Yeah,
a thing that I. It's so funny. I know a lot of people that have had problems with that, and kids of famous actors, and it's
yeah,
just it's a sad thing. I don't. I never really got into drugs, so knock on wood.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
yet. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Hopefully I never will.
No, it's the problem is now is that there's just such an amazing capacity for, what with when fentanyl was invented, and then it's like, okay, the criminals are just so, I mean, God, they're so brilliant and they do so many amazing things. If they could use it for good and
Oh,
not evil, we would be totally taken care of because how to make fentanyl in your bathtub, and you end up with. That's what Maria died of, was fentanyl. And
really?
it was a street thing that's just it's so lethal. And, even going back to like, the old days when people were heroin addicts, they could live a long time on heroin if you didn't, but nowadays, you're really, children everywhere need to know you're taking your life into your own hands, no matter what you think you're taking, because so much stuff is contaminated or purposely dosed with this stuff that's lethal,
Oh,
all
I
the
know.
time.
It's so sad. I mean, I was just watching this old um TV thing about River Phoenix and
Yeah,
this whole thing when he took I think maybe it was heroin, I don't know, but then he just
yeah,
like, wah,
yeah,
I guess
yeah,
when you're like in your early 20s, you just feel like you're invincible and you don't even
yeah.
think about, but
Yeah, well, yep. I know yeah, I can testify for being an idiot. Yeah,
well, it's for me, I always never wanted to be too out of control. I don't know why.
yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I like leaving. I like leaving.
Yeah, I
Much
know.
so.
And
I was like,
it's probably better for your creativity, but don't do it at home, guys. It's
no, do not. No, try to. Yeah, it's. I mean, there is a there is definitely something about accessing your subconscious,
yeah, yeah,
and
true.
not having your frontal cortex working like it should. But
Well,
it has very vast downsides. If your frontal cortex isn't working, that's where your proper decision making is. And so that's when you start going off the deep end.
yeah,
And
I know. It's a weird thing because I know a lot of songwriters that their best work was when they were total drug addicts, and it's
yeah,
just like such
yeah,
a shame. Why can't you access that without,
yeah.
being a
I know, I
you
know.
know?
Well, it's I don't know. I think it's completely doable. And I think it has a lot to do with just really having a safety in yourself that you can allow yourself to do that while being, not being inebriated. It's like where you feel like it's safe to go to those places without having to use an intoxicant
Yeah,
to get you
that's true.
there.
Like being in a really just being, in touch with yourself too, and just
Yeah.
you can do
Yeah.
it just by
Yeah.
releasing those inhibitions that we have, and
And you may not get the same results, but and maybe it's just meant to be that way. Maybe you're supposed to go through that, and if you make it out, bravo. I mean, look at how many of the most brilliant rock and rollers we know all died at 27. I
I
mean,
know.
that was crazy.
That's
That is
just
crazy.
weird. That's
It's
just
almost like if you make it past 27, you might be okay. You
yeah.
know, um,
Eh,
although, there's still, I mean, Tom Petty and Prince, and that was all fentanyl. All of
see?
those guys,
Oh,
all
I didn't know
fentanyl.
that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, they were both in pain
Sure.
and they had fentanyl patches, so it was like medical, but then you start combining that with and it's I don't know. It's
Well, I know, and even like, singers like Whitney Houston and stuff, they were all like into because another thing, even if you're not in pain, sometimes you just there's so much excess around when you get
oh
successful,
yeah.
you know?
Oh yeah. It's a dark celebrity is like I I don't like it, and that was never what I was searching for. I was always sort of the reluctant, and I mean, but for a few years there, when the motels were there, it was happening to me, and I see how it happens. I see how all of a sudden you're surrounded with people that are like, here, have some of this, have some of
Right.
that. Oh,
Right.
you want some more wine? Here, have
Right.
that. And then also at the same time that's happening, everything is taken care of. All of a sudden you've got an account, you never pay a bill. All of your human skills are atrophying because you're not being treated like a regular person. You're in a bubble, and it is not good for a person's psyche, and it's not good, and it's really dangerous and very hard to navigate. And that so many people you know, I mean, that's why when you see child stars, in this situation, so many of them, just can't even make their way out of it. It's
Make
just,
a good point. You make a good point, though. Even people that aren't celebrities that I know that have never had to do things for themselves,
yeah,
there's a certain thing that gets voided in you need to know how to do things for yourself,
yes,
even if you don't
yes,
have to.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm amazed how many people don't cook for themselves. I'm like,
I
yeah,
know.
you should cook.
I
It's
try to cook.
great.
It's healthier for one thing, but
Yeah,
also it's just it just makes me feel better. I don't do it every night because I'm a little bit too busy, but I try to do it 2 or 3 times a week because I feel
yeah.
it's a good skill to have.
But there's something to be said for your involvement with your meal that
Hmm.
I think, and I'll take it the next step because I don't even like using like food processors and stuff. I have like an old chopping thing in a wooden bowl. It's like the more you're involved with your food or anything,
Mhm, mhm.
your art, your life, you're feeling it real time, you're experiencing it. That stuff's important. It's very important. And the further we get away from that, and obviously we can see now that there's a lot of discomfort humans in themselves with where they are. There's a lot of, we got some issues going on, nothing we can't get past, but a lot of it, and a lot of people are starting to just turn off the screens and turn off their phones and try to be real again. And
Well,
it's
you're right. You make a good point because of all the interaction technology wise, people are losing that skill. Especially, they say men under 25 or something. It's like they don't know how to interact with women, or it's just a lot of
yeah.
things are happening.
I can't believe everybody uses dating apps. And I'm like, that is like so weird for me. I mean, I can't even imagine trying to meet somebody like that. It just is well, I can't even do Spotify. So,
So, guys, if you want to date Martha, you have to meet her in the real way.
exactly, exactly. It's like real world style.
Yeah.
But but I'm one of those people. I like to shop. I mean, first of all, I'm a thrift store shopper, and I like to go. I like to feel. It's
You like
hard.
tangible stuff, tangible
Yes,
feel
I need to.
to
It's
feel it.
tactile. I just, look at it, smell it, whatever.
Well,
But
yeah, and you must have some great thrift shops up there.
oh my God. My house is 100% thrift store. And it,
Really?
it looks like some kind of like, you know, museum in here. It's crazy. But it just being, yeah, just one-on-one being real. I can't even books I can't read on screens.
Oh, I know.
I love my
That's my
books,
flip.
I gotta have that. So, but I'm a 75-year-old woman, so I like the old ways. Um,
But
and
but I still feel like reading is so important. I was listening to this other podcast, and they were saying that reading is like gone down, like only 30% of people actually read books.
I know, it's
And
crazy.
I think it's so good for your brain. I tell these young kids, like these 13-year-old kids I know, I'm like, I'm telling you, if you really want to expand your vocabulary, read a book. I know it's like going in one ear and out the other, but I'm telling them, read a book.
No, and not only that, they've done these studies and they've found that when you read on a screen, it completely changes the way you read.
Really?
Not just reading in general, I mean like you could read your Kindle or whatever, but
Sure.
reading on a screen because with a book, it's a thing where there is a place for stuff, where there's a set place. You
Oh,
can
I
turn
see.
to a certain page
Right.
and your brain associates it with, so you get more than just the words. And they also found that after when you start reading on screens a lot, you people just start skimming. They start skimming because
That's
they,
true. I could see that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when you have a book, you're actually it changes the whole dynamic of how your brain works. And we are tending, I believe, to in some aspects of brain work getting a little dumbed down, and some of it is common sense, and
Sure.
and that involves doing and
Right.
being involved with how the process of it's the process of cooking
Right.
involves you being present and knowing, yeah, that stove's too hot, got to turn that down. It's
Right.
like this is these are processes that that it give us inform our brains. So
That's so true. That's why you're growing your own food. That's
yes.
I mean, you're really doing it. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're growing your own food and you're eating it right out of the garden and cooking
And
it.
I mean, I watch the seasons. I watch the insect every year. A different insect is the king of that year. It's like last year was slime mold. It was awesome. It was like you can see the patterns in nature. You can you start really being involved in what's going on around you. And yeah, I have a cell phone and I do take it with me when I go down the hill in case my car breaks down or
Oh,
something.
that's good. I'm glad. Do you
But
text? Do you
and
text?
I take it on the road when I have to go because that'll be my computer. And I do use my computer and I answer my emails.
Oh,
But that's about it. I mean,
that's about it for you.
and when people try to give me an app, I'm like, nope,
Well,
nope.
I think you're smart that way. Hey,
Yeah.
so I wanted to, I know you have to get going soon, and I wanted to just, reiterate that your new music's coming out in November, but we don't know yet
Yeah.
in what form. Well, we know what form, but we don't know if it's going to be through your record label, or you're going to read. I don't know. You don't know
Yeah.
yet, right?
Yeah. We're saying November-ish. I'm sure.
November-ish.
Yeah.
There's always an
Yeah.
ish.
There's an ish. Yeah. Even though the darn thing's done, I'm trying really hard to get it out, but I just want to make sure it has the right vehicle and it has the right opportunity for people to hear it because I'm tired of putting albums out that don't get heard.
Sure, of course. Like I have my standards, which I'm gonna get through. I
Yes.
have Apple Music, so I'm gonna get it through that. But
Nice.
so and your tour, which starts what date is July
17, did you say 17th
July
of July?
17th.
Yeah.
And okay, so you have a couple dates in Southern California that I'm gonna try to go to. You have one at the House of Blues in
Uh-huh.
Anaheim and one at the Palladium, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to go. One of my girlfriends, she's really into 80s music, so she's like, "Oh, I want to go, I want to go." So planning on going. So I hope to see you there. If I see you, I'll.
Perfect. Yeah, come up and say hi. That would be great.
I
Yeah.
know.
And we will probably be playing at least one of the new songs.
Oh yeah, I was
So,
going to ask you. Thank you for bringing
yeah.
that up because I was like,
Yeah.
are you going to, besides all your hits, of course, are you going to
Yeah.
play? You think at least one of the new songs,
Yeah.
right?
We don't, I mean, we get about 15, 20 minutes on stage. So you got to try to
Oh, I
cram in, you know, your hits and then if I can sneak in some new, I will.
hey, by the way, I know your saxophone is like one of your trademarks, but it's and the new
Uh-huh.
music has it too. Is there a reason why you have such an affinity for the saxophone? Like you've had,
I have all just because when I write music and picture music, I always want it to be as cinematic as
Mm,
possible.
mhm,
I
mhm,
just like it to really paint pictures. And to me, in terms, especially in terms of city-ish,
mhm,
I
mhm.
don't know why, because I'm a total dirt girl and I don't, but I mean, there's the existence of the city and that weird, and every time like you hear a saxophone, you can just picture that wet alleyway and
True.
the sax like reverberating off the walls and stuff. So, I mean, just anything that paints really good pictures. And to me, a saxophone, because the saxophone is basically a human voice.
Mm.
And it's just, through a bunch of brass. And Marty's real good at it. He's so good on this new album. Oh my
Really?
God.
What's Marty's last name? Marty.
Marty Gerard.
Marty.
He was in the first incarnation of the Motels.
I didn't know
And
that.
then when I fired the whole band back in the 80s, he went away for a while, and then I got my new band together in 2003, and then 2011 they released the Apocalypso album, which had not previously been released. And I called Marty. I said, so they're going to release Apocalypso. You want to join back?" And so he's the new old guy.
The
He's
old
been
new
with
guy.
us since 2011, but
Wow.
also since the beginning.
Did you ever work with Clarence Clemens? I thought I read that you did.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Well, I met Clarence when we were shooting Bill and Ted's Excellent
Oh,
Adventure.
right. I love that movie.
And and I said, you should play on my album. And I think, so he came over and laid down some sax on that. And that guy is like, I swear to God, it's like when he would blow, it was just like there was nobody, it was Clarence. That's all. That's why, the saxophone is the voice and the voice of the person. So
Interesting.
uh,
That's a really cool way to think about it. Yeah, no wonder Bruce had him since the beginning, right?
yeah.
So you were
uh,
lucky to have him.
Yes, very lucky and sweet, sweet, sweet man. So,
I saw his son because I saw Bruce Springsteen last year, and I think it was his son that's doing the sax now.
oh, how
Clarence's son.
cool. How cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I
Uh,
really appreciate you taking the time from your
Thank you, Kimbra.
picking plants, no, picking weeds. No, I'm kidding.
I was weed whacking yesterday. It was so much fun. I love weed whacking.
Oh my
Just
God,
like getting my magic garden together. I have a magic garden, which is like a lot of herbal and weird and strange plants that I have.
wow. So
Yeah.
people, you got to check out her stuff on her website, themotels.com. And yeah, because she's got a lot more music out there than just the hits from the
Oh
80s,
yeah.
you
And
know.
there's more to come. We'll be throwing it at you.
More to come. And I can't wait to see you either at the House of Blues in Anaheim or Hollywood Palladium. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was very, very great to see you. And I'll see you
I'll see you
soon
at one of the shows.
in
Okay.
person and
Yeah.
not on a screen.
Yeah. It's really her, kind of. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Martha. I'll
Okay,
talk to you
take
soon.
care.
Okay.
Okay,
Bye. Bye bye.
bye.